I am Anmol. I'm from Yes Bank. Yes Bank has been involved in initiatives related to crafts mostly, and for us, it's important to kind of promote crafts in India. Development of creative industries, as some of the members had said earlier, is extremely critical for us. It's important to formalize the industry because a lot of this industry is not yet formalized. In fact, the recent demonetization move is actually helping to formalize a lot of these industries present in India today. Yeah.
The first question, my question will be to Mr. Vijay Seth, the hero motive. Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to add here that I head the CSR for IFL, and we do a lot of work in the tribal belt of Maharashtra. And we realized that traditional art was getting lost in the other challenges with the tribals face, like water, like health. So unless an integrated model is put, you cannot really bring out, you cannot make the artisans to pursue art full time. So I think as corporates, it was important to look at art as an integrated part of development process of the area. You cannot isolate art from the other challenges they are facing. So mainstreaming art was a big challenge because we had to address the other baseline problems that the artisans were facing. So, so I just wanted to add that.
What is the scenario in the corporate world, especially in CSR sector, with regard to artisan enterprises?
What has happened over the last 2.5 years is that the CSR has been, spend on CSR has been made mandatory by the government. The government says that 2% of your average net profit for last 3 years needs to be spent. And there are various sectors. One of them is, of course, exporting art and artisans. But I go back to the point that she rightly raised. See, and there are a lot of students, MBA students, PGDM, you are one of them. And I just go back to a conceptual theory of Maslow's hierarchy needs. When your basic needs are not being met, if there's not health and hygiene over there, so a lot of corporates are doing are first actually targeting that piece rather than getting into a second piece of ensuring that the artisans get a market. So what it means is, you take a cluster of villages, you ensure that the basic infrastructure is over there. And the second piece, I think the point that one of the ladies out here raised, which is on women empowerment. So if that entire thing is taken as an integrated thing, and once the basic needs are met, only then the corporates, at least that's what I've seen in various corporates, is that they will move on to the next step only then. Or some of them have already started moving into that piece. So women empowerment, for example, how do you ensure that at least even the basic literacy skills are there? So while in the villages, they have artisans who want to do certain things, but there's hardly any literacy. They can't even afford for basic health and hygiene for their kids and for other family members. So that's what at least we at Hero are targeting. That we have taken a lot of villages across the country where, whether it is going to schools, empowering those women. One of the examples which someone asked as to how women are being empowered is that what we do is at least train them with the basic mobility skills, because mobility for women is a major issue in most of the villages, or even in some of those villages what we have seen is that the elders do not want women to actually come out and talk in open. So there are self-help groups where the elders are being told that women in this society are equal partners. So women are being given importance, and when that's being done, I think what we are seeing is some of those arts or artisans or activities which are being done even at a basic level like dairy making or those, or forget even getting into a very traditional arts kind of thing. Now that's where some of these people are now coming back and saying that these materials are there with us, can you really help? We at Hero are also helping many of these villages. Number one, we train these ladies, and most of them are ladies, where while they know a lot of things about the basic skills, but how to ensure that those skills are refined and they are marketable products. And that's where we are doing. In some cases, we are also helping them in ensuring that they get a market for their products. That's how we are helping. But the key thing, as I personally see, is that in many of these places, many of these people actually are not able to go to the market because even they are still struggling with their basic needs in life.
Sir, apart from all these corporate gifts, like artisans can be promoted by corporate gifts, what do you think, what can else be done to promote this artisan sector in corporate life?
I don't think, I didn't use the word gifts. I personally don't think that corporate gifts should be the only means. I personally don't think so at all. And because gift is something which you can actually take it for 1 year, 2 years, suddenly the person who is doing that from a corporate sector, that person changes his thought process, changes, the entire model changes. If we can work at the root where you are empowering those people and giving them those skills that they can go to market and you are helping them to build, that's what I said, that we'll take their products, let them go to those places and sell on their own. You are supporting them to ensure that they get into that. So teaching them would be better rather than picking from them and using it as corporate gift. That would be my view.
Thank you, sir. The next question is for Mr. Kailashwari Sadhu. Are there any specific policies in the corporate that is helping to promote the artisan sectors or something like that?
As far as the CSR policy is concerned, the art and artisans do not fall into the group. But the thing is that since we don't have a good hand-holding mechanism which can help the artisans, if you say livelihoods, I can say yes. Through livelihoods, through cultural livelihoods, you can change the nomenclature only. Ultimately, it's promoting their livelihoods, their persistence. So then we have, if the proposal comes to us, okay, restoring cultural livelihood to suppose 5,000 artisans in so and so pockets, then we don't have, you say, compliance issue in that terms. So we can throw the project and we have provision for that. And other thing is that, just I want to add 1-2 things what Mr. Sethi has spoken to us. Both things have their own different ecosystems, their own different social milieu. Think about artists. They live in isolation. They don't have even digital literacy, even not literacy. They don't have basic needs. They don't have enabling environment. They work in hardships. And what we do have in corporate systems, lots of compliances, lots of rules and regulations, lots of modernizing things. So how to bridge the gap? That is the major challenge. And that is the challenge for all the professionals or would-be professionals sitting here. So what mechanism we should evolve? In what way we can link skills, we can upgrade their skills, we can make them digitally literate, we can expose them to the markets, we can expose them to the branding, we can expose them to the marketing, we can expose them to the packaging, we can give them some platform, institutional platform on which they can come, they can talk, they can get synergy at least existing government institutions or corporate institutions. That is the need of the hour.
My next question is to Mr. Shashank. So what are the initiatives by Harvard SAI for artisan sector in past couple of years?
Yeah, good afternoon to all. I know it's a tough time to talk at a panel just before lunch, so they are thankful to you for giving us your patient hearing. I think what the Harvard South Asia Institute did over the last 2 years is exactly trying to bridge the gap of what the esteemed panel members have been talking about. We had a collaborative project with the Tata Trust, which was focused on livelihood creation in India. And one of the tracks was rural livelihood creation in the Indian craft sector. Now, this is the need of the hour, which I think where corporate organizations or corporate foundations can collaborate with academic institutions who can bring in the necessary academic and research rigor in the process. And that's exactly what Harvard South Asia Institute did. We mapped the space. For over 5 months, we visited 10 states of India, studied about 40 organizations, and the kind of challenges they face, the kind of models they have to implement their different craft enterprises, the kind of capacity building gaps that they perceive, or kind of help they need, the hand-holding they need in the areas where they think if they are helped, they can make a difference. And just to add to that, one of the previous panelists had mentioned that it may be difficult to reach out to the rural artisans, but the best way to influence this sector would be to build capacity in the social entrepreneurs who are already working with and reaching out to the rural artisans. So that's exactly the model we followed. So from that we got together about 7 to 8 areas where capacity building was required, and then we planned a capacity building workshop in which we had 400 applications from across India, and then we curated through a very rigorous process 50 organizations which are doing really good work from 15 states of India, and some of them impact 25 artisans, some of them impact 40,000 artisans. So we had organizations at both ends of the spectrum, and we got together for a 4-day residential workshop. Many people thought, what is going to happen in a 4-day workshop? We ourselves didn't know what would happen. But the kind of results that we've seen post the workshop communicate to us the need for greater replication of that kind of effort that has been made. What happened at that workshop? What happened was that a platform was created where craft entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, so very passionate and inspired to spare their time, their talents, their efforts, and catalyze this sector in a very, very substantial and positive way was envisaged. We had the likes of Mithilasmita, we had the likes of Sarika, we had the likes of so many others who are here in this audience today who had participated at the workshop and were really inspired to know, not what we taught them, of course we did, but that there were others like them who had left very lucrative corporate jobs and were using their management skill sets and leadership insights to influence this craft sector very, very positively. So that's what happened. A WhatsApp group was created. The idea of the All India Arts Alliance first germinated, and I'll talk about it when we launch it this afternoon. And we then moved on to the grants process. And then we curated 6 organizations from the 40 that had applied for grants. I mean, these were nominal grants. They were more of social innovation grants to envisage something different. And we had 6 organizations from 6 states of India doing some very interesting work. And even before you ask the next question, I'll add on to that so that it gets into a continuum. We had as diverse ideas as the Handloom School, which is being run in Maheshwar by Women's Weave, which is an eminent organization supported by the Holkar royal family. And the Handloom School is a very unique initiative where second, third generation weavers who would otherwise go into the IT industry or the BPO industry are selected for a 1-year residential program, of which 6 months are spent in grooming them into the latest developments and technical insights connected with the craft sector. Working on multi-treadle looms, using social media and computer to reach out for new designs, learning to operate e-commerce platforms, learning to read and write and speak English, learning to look at new fashion trends in the different parts of the world. And after these 6 months of training, these young weavers are given an opportunity with the seed funding to implement their ideas in action. After that 1 year, they go back to where they came from, and they are no longer weavers who take instructions from middlemen. They become craft entrepreneurs. And their job is then to employ 20 more, 30 more, and start an organization which will help catalyze that sector for scale and scope. There was example of Raha Foundation, which is working with the Varli artisans in Palghar district of Maharashtra, and Sarika can share more about it. There was an example of Reset Fabrics in West Bengal, which is providing opportunities of employment for women in the Behrampur district, which is considered to be the trafficking capital of West Bengal. So the only employment opportunity for them is either they take up some kind of an economic remunerative opportunity like what they are providing, or they get trafficked. And they have a waiting list of 600 women who want to join their organization. They've been able to employ 60 as of now and give them a life of dignity. So there is so much of a socio-economic outcome of this whole thing. It's not just about CSR bringing in money or business ideas and funding coming into this sector. It is more about the change in their entire life and the entire family that is being brought about if this sector is catalyzed positively. Just to give a figure, handicrafts is the second most employing sector in India after agriculture. While formal figures say that about 20 million people, that's 2 crore people, are involved in this sector. informal figure says that 1 in every 6 Indian is directly or indirectly connected with the craft sector. But the kind of importance that the craft sector has got has been dismal for multiple reasons. The kind of seriousness involved in it has not yet surfaced. While agriculture gets all the importance, but crafts does not. So it's a great opportunity to catalyze it. I would like to add with what my co-panel member said. It's not just about whether the craft sector is included in the CSR Act or no. It's more to do with how companies can integrate their very business models proactively to give opportunities to craftisans. My latest book on called Win-Win Corporations just launched last week. In that I've given an example of Taj Group of Hotels and how hospitality industry can very, very effectively integrate artisans and craftspeople. And what Taj did with the Banarasi silk saris, and it's become a very famous example as to how a newspaper report on a 30-year-old weaver from Varanasi selling blood to make a living surfaced. And that's when Ratna Krishna Kumar, the wife of the vice chairman, took up the cause saying, what is it that Taj can do in order to ensure that the Banarasi sari weavers don't see such dreaded days. And then they decided that they would support the Banarasi weaving industry, but not as a dole, not as charity, but give them employment and entrepreneurial opportunities. And they decided that entire front-end employees at all the Taj 5-star properties would wear Banarasi silk saris. They adopted a Sarai Mohana village, which is 5 kilometers from Banaras, and then they provided them cloth, they provided them expert guidance, and the only thing the artisans had to do was to use their skill to ensure that they bring out a quality product. They provided them solar lanterns so that the constant electricity shortage does not affect their work. They provided them new looms because some of them had used their older looms as firewood. They were so desperate and had no opportunities. Now all of them earn thousands of rupees. They get about 3,500 per sari when the middlemen used to give them 350 rupees. You can imagine what 350 is. You go to buy a Banarasi sari in the market today, it's not available less than 10,000. And these artisans are now having a self-sufficient life. They have also, and as Sarika said, and I'm trying to weave it together to show how CSR need not be isolated. They are also providing healthcare, they are providing education, they are providing the ecosystem so that they have a satisfying life. And more interestingly, this Sarai Mohana village, which was in destitution till now, has become so famous that the New York Times covered them in an article in 2015 as an excellent example of how corporations can contribute positively to the craft sector and also provide employment to these artisans who are totally without any opportunity and have no hope. So I guess there is a lot that academic institutions can do, a lot that corporate foundations can do through the CSR route, and a lot that corporate leaders from a strategy point of view can do in order to bring the artisans and the art sector into mainstream.
So, the next question is again to you. Any upcoming event or upcoming status about any organization?
Oh yes, so as I said, this project is concluding that I am leading, it's concluding in February. So we are having a summit event on the 23rd of Jan, that's next Monday, right here in Delhi at the Taj Mansingh, where we'll be showcasing the work that we've done over the last 18 months. We've put together a publication that has captured our entire journey, the travelogue of how we visited 10 the states of India and all that we studied there, the challenges that we've listed, the workshop insights that we've gained, the grantee related profiles, 6 of them including Sarika, both the Sarika, I saw the other Sarika also here, Sarika Samdani, who is the managing director of Kumaon Gramin Udyog, Sarika Kulkarni, and then Women Weave organized, all of them have been profiled. And by the way, we did, so for those who are interested in the craft sector, we did 6 webinars where we engaged with in-region experts. One of them, and of course all of them are on the Harvard South Asia Institute YouTube channel, one of them was on social media. So you will be surprised that all these social entrepreneurs wanted to know how social media can be effectively used to communicate their cause and increase their sales. And we got an expert from Facebook who shared how Facebook at no cost has helped many social entrepreneurs reach out to hitherto unreached audience and increase the sales of their crafts enterprises or any other kind of enterprises. So all of these being captured in the publication, and we're having an event on 23rd of Jan at the Taj Mansingh at 6 p.m., 6 to 9. It's an open event. So all of those who are interested, please join us. You could register. The link is available. I've shared it with Dashi. She can share it with this cohort. And we'll be having a panel discussion with experiences of the grantees who've been supported by this project. We'll be releasing the publication and many more insights. And Jayaji is on our advisory board. So she'll also be joining us for the event. We have Mr. Ashok Chatterjee, the former head of the Crafts Council of India. He's also joining us for the event. We have Professor Tarun Khanna, who is the director of Harvard South Asia Institute. He'll be anchoring the program. So it's going to be very insightful. So thanks for asking that question. It will be a great opportunity for the crafts patrons and the crafts entrepreneurs to join us that evening.
Ma'am, what do you think? What role such summits play in development of art sectors and artisan sectors?
Roller coaster ride for last 1 year since last year January in Ahmedabad. So unbelievable role these summits and the kind of initiative Harvard South Asia Institute has taken. I think they contribute a lot. One is they bring us out of the closet. They bring us to a platform. They give us a platform. They allow us to network with like-minded individuals who've been there and done that. So there's lots to learn from other, lots of best practice sharing, lots to learn from other people's experience. So there's
and trying to make it more fashionable for people to wear it as well, because it's a fantastic garment. And as you pointed out, some of our ancient, some of these textiles, like say Baluchari, they have shifted to Varanasi. And a lot of people are making Baluchari in Varanasi, whereas if you see the GI tag of Baluchari actually in West Bengal. So I think if we can actually kind of devote more time to making such garments, such crafts more fashionable, I think it will become a big business for a lot of people, and a lot of commercial entrepreneurs will also jump into it as well.
So CSRs can probably do is provide the infrastructure, like you need, and alleviate the basic social problems that the artisans face. That is what CSRs can do. Upskilling of these artisans also CSRs can definitely take it up, because that's in our mandate. But mainstreaming the artisans, getting designer products out of them and helping them sell in the market, a social entrepreneur has to come into the picture. So when we say integrated the model, it means both CSRs, government and social entrepreneurs together coming forward, and what CSRs can do, they should do. What social entrepreneurs can do, they should do. Only then can really art go to a different level altogether.
Thank you, panelists.
Called Her Canvas, which is for women artisans. And my question is, for organizations such as ours, which are trying to create a platform to, give some exposure to a lot of, forgotten arts and crafts, even performing arts. It often gets very difficult to navigate through these various systems of, training and finance, etc. And this is something that many smaller organizations also tell us. And artisans especially don't even know how to begin. When we talk about creating a cross-sectional system for them, or creating, linkages to the market. So a lot of time and a lot of resources are, they just go by for navigating these systems. So what can industry, media, etc., get together and, do about this?
Is it media, industry? I can't, I'd say, I can't mix. So I think it comes back to the same point, especially from a CSR perspective. When you empower those people, when you skill those people, things would automatically be done. But just to add to one point, and that would answer it's not just the social enterprises and the academia and the industry and media that has to work, also the commercial enterprises, and that's a point that he raised. Because beyond a point, till the time for that artisan, it's not just self-sustainable, but he's also making profit out of it. Only then more and more people will be encouraged to work on that. So the media plays a role where people are told, industry plays a role where we actually empower them, whether through mobility, whether through education, whether through ensuring that the environment in which they live, from a CSR perspective, we take up those clusters as CEO associated. We do that. Where the entire environment is good, Because otherwise, if the environment is really bad, the chances are some of these social entrepreneurs may go, but commercial entrepreneurs won't even go to that place. Once in a while, if you are to visit, they won't go. Because it will be too far off, too bad, and it smells and all those things, and they wouldn't like to go. But if you really, as CSR, we make the entire thing really decent, clean, there will be a lot of people will be visiting. Once they get that visibility, automatically then things would come and the fake chanderis would automatically get reduced because people would really know that there's actual original chanderi and there's a fake chanderi. But since no one visits those places, because they're too bad, so then the fake continues. So that would be my 2 cents on this.
Yeah, just like to add, you should see these recent examples of these two great Indian designers, Suket Theer and Rahul Mishra, and how they're actually using a lot of clusters, how they're using a lot of master weavers, and they've also kind of got a lot of visibility outside India as well. Like for example, Suket is now being featured at Saks Fifth Avenue, he's been featured in South Korea, and they are making a lot of money, but they're also helping the weavers at the same time. The question is, how do you make these Suket Theers into the Zaras of the world? And when that happens, then you know that a lot of Indian products are actually getting a lot of traction in the world.
Okay. The last question for the day.
Can we have the speaker?
So Keto has been an unbelievable support to not only artisans but for other development work also. And we have been able to raise a lot of money from Keto year on year. I mean, it's not only one-time effort that we did, but for artisans also we raised money. We also raised money for some other social problems. So this has been a continuous process, and Keto also has been helping us with several other. So Keto works beautifully. So when you raise money through Keto, they have a system where automatically an NTJ certificate goes to the donor. So it's an integrated system that they have set up. So and like Keto, there are several others who have started. There's something called Help Your NGO, which is also helping you do a lot of crowdfunding. And many are actually, we keep on getting mails almost once a week that, we have started a crowdfunding platform. So it's like Me Too is also happening in this sector. They'll help you make the campaign, they know what works and what doesn't work. So when you start a campaign, they'll give you wonderful feedback about making it successful. They will follow it up and very, very good. So you can definitely use Keto for everything.
I want to add one more point. Basically, what happens in corporate sectors? We have funds and we give impetus on sustainability. Anything, any activity, any proposal which is sustainable, that should be given the first priority. So for that, we have provision. Okay, you will walk to 2 steps and I will walk 10 steps. So together it will be 12 steps. So suppose we have fund and we are providing on pilot basis to a group soft loan. It's not loan because we are not financing body. We just charge 4% as service charge, and on 4% we provide them loan for 2 years, 3 years. Because we strongly feel that credit linkage is prerequisite for surviving any artisan or any guild of artisans or any artisan related federation or forum. So that provision, I think, is gradually emerging among other corporates also, and they are thinking that line. Because there are so many, you say, takers, they submit proposals for ABC activities, but corporates do not have time to monitor them and do not have time to see the impact. So they want to be assured that what impact actually it will generate with the interest of the stakeholders. That is the prime concern. Thank you.
On crowdfunding, I just want to add one thing. On crowdfunding, I just want to, since there are a lot of kids out here, I just want to add what I have seen over the last 1 year is that almost in all institutes, must be in NDIM also, a lot of students who actually want to devote something for social cause. And they actually go to these crowdsourcing platforms or crowdfunding platforms, and they then ask people for funds for a particular cause. So they may say that my target at this moment is just to raise 5 lakh rupees. They might say 4 lakh, 20 lakhs, whatever. And then a lot of students who are doing this today for a particular cause. So my request to each one of you would also be that if you can actually use some of these platforms like Keto and others and do something that would be really good, it's going beyond the CSR. do something called ISR, my individual social responsibility. Forget what my corporate will do, but what I can do for all those guys. So that's if we can do, that would be fantastic.
Two things. Social media has soft power, and companies like the Tata Group and the like have deep pockets. So it's not about deep pockets, it's about the mind space and the importance that these companies can give. So my appeal would be that if you have deep pockets, please use them. Not just for giving out money through CSR, but giving your time to think about CSR related issues differently. I think the greatest opportunity with the CSR legislation is brought about is not the 15,000 crores that will get into the development sector. 15,000 crores divided over 15 causes is 1,000 crore rupees, which is a pittance if you see in terms of the issues that India is facing. But when CSR has reached the boardroom and you have the most bright minds of the corporate world thinking about how to contribute to the developmental issues that India is facing, that is the contribution that corporate organizations can make. And when I quoted the example of Taj Hotels, or for that matter, there would be a dozen other examples which many eminent corporates have implemented. It's more so the kind of innovation that they are applying to their idea or to their activities, and the kind of way in which they are doing things very differently, which will help them stand out going forward. So CSR or social activities eventually do not become a standalone complementary activity of the business. It has to be integrated into the larger way in which business is done. That is a successful win-win model for a country like India, which has a lot of problems, but a lot of opportunities, and above all, a lot of bright minds with great ideas. That is the way forward.
Correct. We are seeing all these beautiful, traditional craft coming up in international airport and new government buildings. These are not happening just because they like art and craft. These are happening because of the policy which says that 3% of the money they need to spend on this specific sector, which actually beautified. So my request would be CSR people can really create this conscious consumerism with their procurement agents within their corporate to beautify their offices. It would be wonderful to see these crafts getting into the heads of these corporates and they just showcasing there. How to go about it is as simple as like thinking about corporate procurement policy. This sector don't need any of the money which we are talking about. This needs that empathy and that access to the places where the story itself is going to sell. If tomorrow the CSR division can convince their own corporate guys, procurement guys, to think about just changing 10% of their procurement from these art and craft sectors, every year promoting one traditional artist, taking to the corporate world, giving as a corporate gift, telling the story, and then becoming that family. So this itself is going to create, so much of market for them, and also a lot of self-respect and credibility to the craft which comes into, ultimately will lead to the market level.
Thank you for this discussion.